And shout out Moby Dick. Where is she?
Honestly,
Where'd she go? She fell off.
I think she got speared in the back, poor thing.
I think she was canceled for a tweet she
Yeah.
made when she was like 13 or something. For a tweet. Just kidding. I can hear you. You sound beautiful. Can you sing something?
Perfect.
A little something?
I don't sing for free.
Not even for your friend?
We could do a special episode of me singing.
Okay,
Maybe I'll even dance.
That's okay.
Okay,
That's okay. I wouldn't ask you to do that. I've seen it before, and
cutting shapes.
we want people to come back, so it's just whatever.
Maybe for 10 years after we get everyone hooked, then we'll really disappoint them.
10 years from now. Rachel,
Emily,
this is our first episode
of the start of something great
of the We Were Girls Together pod.
I know.
Shivers. This is monumental. This is monumental. I'm Emily.
And I'm Rachel.
And we were girls together. And basically that's the gist of the pod, is that we and it's actually over. So this will be the first and last episode, because
we'll wrap it up here.
That's basically all we're here to talk about.
Thanks for coming.
No, we are hoping to create a community using our podcast that brings together best friends, brings together women and femme and people who really identify with girlhood and the feeling of girlhood. And yeah, I think that this is going to be a really fun and magical time of our lives. And hopefully that translates to people as they live.
This is really a labor of love for Emily and I, and we've been best friends literally since the time we could walk. So this is a really special project for the both of us to hop online and just chat about different topics and give you guys our opinions that you didn't ask for, but you're getting. Yeah. And I'm super excited to be doing this with you.
Yeah, I'm excited too.
So we'd love to get into the first episode with you guys. This first introduction to our podcast is going to be books in the Girlhood library.
This is your first introduction to us. Good. You're starting at the beginning, and we can't wait to continue on this journey with you.
Yeah. Thanks everyone for tuning in, and we hope you enjoy, and many more episodes to come on girlhood and the eras of our friendship. And we're also going to give you our unsolicited movie advice and suggestions. So stay tuned, more to come, and we're happy to be here.
Yep. Love everyone that takes the time to listen and watch. So thank you.
Live, laugh, love.
Live, laugh, fart, shit yourself, and piss all over everything. Okay. Welcome
to our pod. Welcome to the We Were Girls Together podcast. Today, we have a very exciting episode for you. We are going to start something that may become part of a little mini series as we go on living our life. So welcome to our episode. This one is called Books in the Girlhood Library.
Books in the Girlhood Library! I love this episode.
Yeah, we're going to get into some good stuff. Emily's going to go through some books from her past, as in books growing up. And what do they mean to you, Em?
Yes. So I chose books that were, because I loved reading at like a very, very like a normal, I guess, age, like grade 3 and 4. I got really into reading, even though it took me like 3 hours to do my comprehension test in grade 3, which is like 2 hours, way too long. I did like reading. I just didn't like reading boring shit. So I loved reading. I loved reading the like little kid romance books, is what I would call them. Which is like so crazy to think that there was romance books geared to young ass people like me in grade 3. Like grade 3, 4, grade 5 and 6. And then grade 7 is when I started getting into the hardcore shits.
Twilight?
Yeah. Twilight. Auntie, I'm not going to talk about it right now, but my auntie had uploaded by accident when she was charging her iPod at my house. She uploaded these audiobooks that she was listening to. And they are fucking freaked out, raunchy as fuck. And so then I was like, damn, this shit's crazy. And I was addicted to it.
Shout out to Auntie J.
Thanks, Auntie Jackie. Shout out
Mm-hmm.
Creative Scrapbooking Magazine.
We'll read our horoscopes first.
Okay, so I'll read. Do you want me to read you yours first?
Yeah, sure.
Okay,
And then I'll read you
Rachel was
yours.
born on April 20th,
A
420.
heavenly day.
So she is a Taurus. So your horoscope for today is a number of new people could come your way, Taurus. Perhaps through projects or of some kind with which you're involved. Some of them may appear to be trustworthy and some may not. Today,
Great.
however, your instincts are highly attuned and you'll be better than usual at sizing up people you don't really know. Make the most of this ability and don't let logic get in its way. Follow your heart. Wow,
I
that's
like
awesome.
that. That is a good one.
Awesome.
That's a really great one. Very
That.
in tune to what's happening right now.
Yeah, and you just
Okay.
met all those awesome people.
Yeah. That's so true. Very true.
That's
Yeah, I
crazy.
just made new friends if anyone didn't listen to the last episode. And now I'll read you Emily's. Emily is a Libra,
What day's my birthday?
middle dramatic Libra.
Do you know what day my
September
birthday is?
23rd.
Nope.
September 24th.
Jesus
I'm so
Christ.
sorry. I'm sorry. You know what I was looking at? I was looking at the Libra dates. Start from the 23rd
You are
of September.
foul-mouthed.
I know. I apologize. A little bit of dyslexia coming in here. Okay. So
Okay.
Emily's horoscope today is new opportunities, perhaps involving modern technology in some way, not the
That's
pod,
fucked.
might present themselves to you in such a way as to transform your working life. Libra, you
Please,
could
please.
find yourself making a lot of phone calls in this regard, which could keep you busy for much more of the day. Your level of excitement is likely to be very high, bit crazy, which makes it important that you remember to take breaks, catch your breath, and definitely get a little exercise. Not the
Boring.
passive aggressive, not the passive
Whoa!
aggressive exercise
Honey,
at the
you get
end.
some fucking exercise.
Yeah, you lazy ass
I went for a
computer.
walk today.
That's just what it said.
That is crazy. That like built me
Yeah.
up just to kick me when I was flying high. No, that's honestly, I love that. And the funny thing about it saying me being on the phone, Greenpeace won't stop calling me.
Perfect.
The
So I was talking about the
organization.
telemarketers.
Yes, it's talking about
Great.
Greenpeace needing me to send them my last dollar to, stop the climate change, basically, is what's going on. And hey, Greenpeace, I'll get back to you. You don't gotta
Yeah.
call every hour. I'll call you.
I know where you are.
I know where you are. I got your number. Okay, send there.
And your
No worries.
emails.
And your emails. Yeah.
Telegrams.
Telegram. But yeah, so that was a pretty awesome
Mhm.
horoscope for me. I'm just gonna
Little
go ahead and
read.
say it. I'm riding high off of that. Feels very prudent to what's been going on over
Yeah.
up in here.
I think they're both pretty good.
I think they're both pretty
All
good.
right.
All
Should we kick
right.
it off? Would you
Yes.
like to go first? With
Sure,
your
I'll go first.
book.
Yes. So my first book is not going to be one book. It is going to be a type of book series. They're not even a series. It's just this publishing company. I don't know if it's the company or whatever it is, but there are the Candy Apple books. So Candy Apple books are books for like little kids. I think I was in like grade 4, grade 5 reading these books, and they all have the same premise. A girl is coming back to school after having like the summer she turned pretty, right? So this is like the OG summer she turned pretty. I'm sure Jenny Han was reading these books when she was younger, and that's why she went and popped off the way she did. Jenny Han, friend of the
Shout out
pod.
Jenny
Thank you,
Han.
girl. Thank you for the work that you've done. And so they would be, I remember this one, accidentally or secretly a tomboy or accidentally a girly girl. And so this girl is like a kind of, they always describe her as going through the summer. And this is like toxic as fuck, but I ate this shit up. She would come back to school going through the summer and having lost weight, having just gotten to a traumatic fight with her best friend and they're no longer talking. And so they spend like the first little book of her just like having to deal with this newfound interest from boys. And so it's like the classic, oh my God, the popular boy all of a sudden wants to like hang out with me. And the popular boy is usually the boy that her best friend had a crush on, but now her and her best friend are on the outs. And so she's like, okay, like, I guess I'm going to talk to this boy, even though I don't really want to. And then there's a bunch of like dumb little side quests that happen, but it always ends the same, where the main girl realizes that her dorky little guy friend is actually the guy she likes. And it always ends with finally she gets her first kiss from the dorky little guy friend.
Classic plot.
Classic
Revolutionary plot rewritten a
trope. It
million
is it's
times.
got to be a trope in
It
like
has to.
the writing, where it's like the glow up trope or something. And it's so toxic, and it's always going to I'm always going to be obsessed with it, because you picture yourself like becoming hotter than ever, right?
Yeah.
You're like, "Oh yeah, all I have to
Yeah,
do
this is
is."
gonna happen to me.
And
This is
this
my
so
summer.
it's crazy, because I remember reading one of these and then, like, using her, like, instead of snacking, she just always had gum in her pocket, and so whenever she would want a snack, she would pop a little piece of gum in her mouth, and I was like, "That's what I'm gonna do."
So it started
And hey, it
eating
doesn't work.
disorders for girls all over the country.
Yes, yes, it was like
Don't
meal
give this book to your kids.
replacement, yeah, and it was geared towards children, and yeah, it's hilarious, but I used to read those books. Oh my god, I used to read them just, like, one after another, because 'cause they're just short books,
Yeah.
and, I would always be like, "I wonder when I'm gonna meet my dorky little guy friend that I'm supposed to
Maybe I
fall in
already
love
have.
with. Maybe I already have."
Maybe.
Yeah, that's my
That's
first
cute.
book trope
So you
slash
put
series.
yourself inside of the
Always.
books.
In the fantasy books, I
Fantasy,
always put myself in, like, the main character. I'm always
that's
reading,
the fun of it.
and, like, that's me probably, right? If I'm
Yeah.
casting this role, it's me playing the role. Unless
It's a
something bad
starring role.
happens.
Yeah,
I'm like,
then
"No, this
then
is
it's
not
then it's
me.
the
This is
frenemy.
their story." Yeah. Yeah.
Can't relate.
Okay, you go.
Cute.
What's your first book?
Okay.
What's
I'm gonna
your
start
book?
off really heavy.
I just like that was scary. Really heavy. Oh
And
god.
because so Emily and I are a little bit different. I never read when I was in school. I never read
'Cause
when
you
I was
didn't
a
know
kid growing
how.
up. I was illiterate, apparently. I did know
I'm
how to
kidding.
read. I do remember powering through Moby Dick. Apparently, that for me was something of
That's crazy.
revolutionary sorts. Massive book. Still pat myself on the back for that.
You should
But
reread
other than
it.
that, I didn't really read. Wasn't a big reader.
Other than Moby Dick, I didn't read as a
Yeah,
child. That's a
the biggest,
crazy.
baddest book on the shelf.
That is insane.
But it is something that I've really grown to love and found a lot of salvation in it. And it's probably a trauma thing from me because I fixate on self help books. But I did try to add some fun ones in my suggestions today. But this one that I'm going to show you is called The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. And he's kind of like a revolutionary spiritual leader. He's German and white, so
Gross.
yeah, a bit crazy that he's a spiritual leader. Anyways, this book honestly changed my life, and it came to me during a time where I was probably least expecting it. I was going through a bit of a hard time, and I had booked myself a trip to Bali to just kind of relax, get away, kind of reset after leaving a job. And this book found me in the middle of the city, in the middle of Sydney. I was meeting a friend before I came down, and it was this little shoe hole bookstore in the middle of the city in between all these high rises. And I saw it and I was like, oh, I'm going to go in there. And for some reason, I grabbed this book and it changed my life. And this book really just talks about escaping the constraints of your mind. And at the time, I was feeling probably like deep depression for the first time in my life after my brother had passed away. And yeah, experiencing depression on that level, it was just really kind of a dark place at times in my mind. And this book really liberated me from those thoughts and kind of sparked something where I was like, okay, like I control my thoughts. I am not my thoughts. It is part of this bigger egotistical thing that's feeding me and wants to stay alive and wants to keep me in this place because it thinks that me being scared of this, that, or this is going to keep me safe. So the book really helped like liberate me from, yeah, a dark time in my life. And after I read it, I really was able to connect with the spiritual part of my life that I had been missing for quite some time, that I had kind of stopped practicing after I was going through a hard time. And it really reintroduced me to that and made me realize that I am a very spiritual person and that that in itself liberates me from a lot of heaviness of the world, to be honest. So it wasn't just the liberation of some thoughts that I was trying to escape, but also a connection back to my spiritual self. So that's a lot of weight, I think, to carry for one book. And I'm due to read it again. And he has probably like 4 or 5 other books. And I've bought a few of them, but none of them are as good as this one. And pretty sure your girl Oprah verified that it's also good. So
Wow.
if you're not going to take my word for it, you should at least take Oprah's word for
I
it.
mean, I trust you way before I trust Oprah, so I'm taking your
That's
word for
good.
it.
Good.
I mean, I've read a little bit of that
Mm,
book because it was recommended to me way before,
mm,
like, anything that you're talking about, and yeah, I've heard only really good things about it from most people that
yeah.
have read it. And I think that's incredible, like, that the
Yeah.
universe was like, "Here, girl, you should read this." Yeah, put it into your lap, kind of.
But I also feel like I wouldn't have gotten the same out of it if I had read it in a different time of my life. Like for
Mhm.
me, it was like salvation. The words were like salvation at the time.
Yeah.
And if I read it during a different time in my life, I don't think I would have gotten as much out of it. So, yeah, that's my first book. That one of it has to be one of my favorites because it was probably the most impactful at the time. So, that's my number 1.
What you said about how, it was that you are not your thoughts,
Yeah.
like, that is a groundbreaking, like, mental clarity moment where you can
Yeah.
feel when you have that thought, I'm sure it feels like coming up for air.
Yeah, for sure. It definitely did. So,
Mhm.
I could not put it down. And then afterwards, I was like, wanted everyone to read that book. I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh my god, you have to read this book. It changed my life." But I've realized now that it is very situational and personal. I think what you get out of that book. And a lot of people, I think everyone who reads it will get something else out of it. But
Yeah,
yeah, a good read.
that's awesome. Okay, so this is gonna be kind of a hilarious whiplash back and forth between your self-help books and the books that I have. Oh, and the next book I'm gonna bring up is the year I turned 16. And so this is actually 4 books, but the book that I got had all 4 into one. And so I read all 4, but they're all in one book together. And it's a book and it talks about it's The Year I Turned 16 by Diane Schwem. And this book is about 4 sisters and it's each book is the day that sister turns 16. So it goes from oldest to youngest.
Yeah.
And I read this book. I can't remember a lot of the details, but it was one of the first books that I had read where there was like a heartbreaking loss of one of the characters.
Mm,
And so I believe it's the oldest or maybe the second oldest sister ends up passing away. And it happens like later on. So it's all you're at the youngest sister's book and the oldest sister passes away and like suddenly and it's very like shocking and upsetting and it was just kind of like I remember it so deeply because it was like a core memory to experience that in writing to experience that like oh my gosh, like
sense
shocking
of grief.
sadness.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was this favorite sister, like she was always the mother to all the other sisters. In the first book in her story, she had went through a really like hard time and an identity crisis. And I don't know, it's something about like it's weirdly taught me um about like grief and loss in like a very probably, like, if I were to read it now, I'd be like it'd seem superficial, but at the time that I was reading it in, like, junior high, I think I was in grade 7, it was so formative, and I was just like, "Oh my gosh,"
Yeah.
like and it sat with me in a way where I was like, "Oh, wow, like, life is not fair, like, bad things do happen to good people," and that might seem like a negative thought to have, and it's not a happy thought to have, but I think that in a weird way, it, like, began a realization of like, don't take things for granted. Have gratitude for the moments that are good, and because they're fleeting, all moments are fleeting, good and bad. And yeah, so I don't know. I think that it was a really, really beautiful book.
Mm.
Or the books in the series were really beautiful, but it was also like kind of like a silly book about girlhood, like each girl turning 16 and their stories they went through, and like the things that happen when you start to come into like your young adulthood at 16, 17, where you start to push boundaries and where you kind of, I think that's kind of like around the time you start to self actualize in a way that's like you're not as much following the status quo, like you're not feeling that pressure as much. Or at least I wasn't when I turned 16. I started to feel like more like an individual, and I started to kind of allow myself to be myself more. I also
Yeah.
was lucky enough to have friendships at that age that I had with you, that I had with Lauren, that were the type of people that would lift me up and allow me to have that space to be more of an individual and to push back against things because it just wasn't what I wanted or what I felt. So yeah, so the year I turned 16, just a
Awesome.
straight up girlhood book. That is,
Yeah.
yeah, that's a good one.
I love the concept of that book. I like that it gives 4 different perspectives on, like, the same household and how that may be
Yes.
different between siblings.
Yes.
And then I also really liked the part where you said it taught you about the world and maybe kind of was a slight introduction into grief and experiencing that and taking that away from a book in a soft and gentle way, I think is a really great lesson as well. So that's cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's not gonna change the world, but yeah, it is like when you say that thing about getting to see the same household and the different perspectives, it
Yeah,
is so interesting because, especially, I mean, if you have a lot of siblings or if you just have one other sibling, or if you're like us and we each have two siblings, the experience of each sibling is so different. And that's something
for
that
sure.
whenever I talk with like my siblings about different things in our lives growing up, it is so interesting to hear, whoa, I didn't even see it from
That.
in those eyes. And yeah, so it's interesting and it's kind of nice. It's nice to remember that everybody to be taken out of your head and realize that
Mm,
your perspective is not always the reality. It's just your perspective. And
yeah,
yeah, so it's interesting. It's interesting.
different realities for sure. Okay, great one. Thank you.
What's yours? The Da
You're gonna
Vinci
like
Code?
this one.
What?
Yeah, I have the whole dictionary here.
The Bible?
Great read, not the Bible. I have a very great book that was given to me by my dearest friend.
Shut up! Yes!
I picked this book.
My
It's called
god!
Loud
So
by
smart.
Drew Afualo. Afualo.
Wallow, yeah.
Yeah, she's this
Shout
amazing
out! Oh my god, I'm sorry, I'm
TikToker.
freaking out. Yes.
She is really beyond her years.
Oh my god,
If
I'm gonna.
you're a woman that has frustrations with the world, you need to follow her. Emily, do you mind adding her handles to this episode
Oh
as
yeah,
well?
she probably
Because I feel
needs,
like we
like, the
need to share her.
exposure. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
She's a
we need to
small
give her the
creator.
shout out.
Yeah.
No, she's huge. But no, definitely someone worth checking out. And if
Okay.
you would be interested, her book is amazing. And Emily gave me this gift for what, my 27th birthday, I think.
Mhm.
And it feels like you're talking with a friend when you're reading this book. It is such a fresh take on feminism and growing up in the patriarchy and different ways we kind of accommodate men as well. And realizing those little micro things that we may do when we were younger and how we've outgrown them, but then also things that we do when we're older that may be accommodating men for
Mhm.
no reason. So I think that this book, yeah, was just a really, really fresh take and it was funny and you feel like you're talking with one of your girlfriends that you look up to, honestly.
This book is an incredible foray into feminist writings. It's light in the sense
Mhm.
that, like, it's not gonna be it's it's not overly
It's not
complicated.
demanding of you
No,
in
and it's
any
not
way.
complicated language or anything like that. It is straightforward, and it is, and not to say that it's like a not well written, it's incredibly well written.
Mm-mm.
And but it is a book that has a lot of personal anecdotes from Drew Afwalo that are very relatable, and I think allow people to see the perspective of somebody like her, or somebody
Yeah,
who is a feminist. And yeah, her it's a such a good book. It's honestly,
great read.
I wish every young girl could read that book because it would save them a lot of fucking time.
When I read, there's a section on she calls it being a pick me or a teenage pick me girl.
Yes. Oh my god, yeah,
And
chills.
about
Yeah.
high school, yeah, and it
Yeah.
talks about how in high school, like, as a young woman coming into age, like, you're doing things to be appealing to men, and at the time, like, you kind of realize it, like, you're kind of conscious of it, but
Well,
you
it's
don't
kind of
actually
your
know what it's
world.
happening. Yeah, as
You don't
everyone's
even
doing
think
it.
like there's anything wrong with it. You're
No.
just like, "Well, of course I wanna be appealing to men
Yeah, of course, but then when you
or
grow up
boys."
and you grow out of those things and you come into more of yourself
Well, you see
and
the how they don't serve you. You see like, "Oh,
yeah, that you're, "Oh,
actually
getting nothing back from this?"
nothing from this. It's actually ruining my self-worth.
Yeah.
It's not allowing me to grow."
Mhm.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, that whole thing about how she was a pick me in high school, even though she still
Mm.
hated men, like she still found guys so annoying, because I think our friend group especially was like that. We never really we liked the boys being a part of the equation, in the sense that, again, it's like fun and hilarious to like be flirty and do
Mm.
silly things with your friends that involve boys. But the fun part was our friends, not the
Yeah,
boys. The fun part
yeah,
was our friends, and the boys were always so stupid and annoying usually.
yeah.
It was
Yeah,
just
I
like,
feel grateful that the boys weren't exactly centralized, but they were definitely there.
yes, yes. Like, we were lucky that we were the type of people that were always like, "We're here to have fun for ourselves, and
First.
whatever else happens around us is kind of just cherry on top." Oh my
Yeah.
god, I'm so happy
Cherry
you
on top.
picked that book!
Yes, I loved it.
I didn't even think of that book. That's so crazy. Loud is, again, it's such a good read. It's well-paced, it's well thought out, and Drew Off Wallow, thank you.
Yeah. Traumatizing men everywhere.
Yes, thank you. Please don't stop.
Yeah.
Okay, that's so good. Okay, so then my
Okay.
book, this is so funny. Okay, so my book, so this is the book series that my Auntie Jackie accidentally uploaded onto my iPod, or into my Apple Music at the time, which then I was like, I'm getting in on this shit, lady. And it was called Fantasy Lover. Okay. Fantasy Lover. Let me look up
How
who it
old were
is.
you?
I don't know, dude. I would think I was in like junior high. Sherilyn Kenyon. Yeah, Sherilyn Kenyon, Fantasy Lover. And yeah, I was in junior high. So already very horny. And then
Yeah, has known
reading this.
about sex for over a decade now,
Yeah.
so nothing was that
Knows
new.
about sex. Just learned about it in grade 6. Basically, I know everything about it. Watched Bridge to Terabithia and became, but yeah, so Fantasy Lover is about Greek gods,
Mm.
and this one of these, I was either like one of the demigods, like a child of a god, or like a lesser god in the Greek mythology. And so he does something to piss off a witch or something like that, or some sort of like Greek witch or whatever that is,
Mm.
or the other gods are pissed off at him. And so they lock him inside of a book for thousands of years. He's locked inside this book. And when you are the owner of this book, this god man is your lover. So he's your sex slave. And so this woman who's like, she's 30, it's such a weird premise. She's 30 and she's only ever had sex once with like this guy she was kind of dating, and it was like this terrible experience. And so she gets this book. She's given this book at like a flea market by this like random old lady that's like, "Honey, you need to get laid. Here, read
Mm.
this," and gives her this book. And so then she takes it home and she opens it up, and like her and this guy, it's like the trope of like basically virgin girl, and then like worried about having sex, but this guy's like, "I'm a master at it. I've been doing it for thousands of
Been
years,
in it
so
for 1,000 years.
whatever you want, baby girl." And so she gets this book, And so she opens it and she's like, I can't have sex with you, blah, blah, blah. I think his name's like Julian or something, the guy stuck in the book. And so then, and she starts to fall in love with him and she's like, oh, like, I want to save you from this book, like your life of torment being a sex slave. And part of his curse is that he never comes. He never orgasms. He can never orgasm.
Good.
Yeah, it's so funny. And so I'm reading this book, or I'm listening to it because it's an audiobook. So I'm like listening to it with my headphones on. I'm like sneaking my iPod into class. Late at night, I'm like, I can never let my mom see this on my iPod. Then so it ends with them figuring out how to break the curse. And so they have to break the curse by on this like specific day of like some sort of eclipse, they have to have sex from going into like 11 p.m. to 12 a.m. the next day. And they have to have sex going into the next day, like experience it into the whatever the fuck. And so
Yeah.
it's like crazy. They're like having sex. And then he finally ejaculates for the first time in thousands of years. And that's how
Ew.
they know that the curse is broken. And so he's no longer immortal. He starts to age with her. And yeah, that's Fantasy Lover
True
by
love story.
Cheryl Kenyon. I
I
know.
hope
So I
you
just
didn't
think
take
it's,
take too much away from that as true love.
isn't that
Wow.
crazy? So
That's funny.
I was listening to that in junior high and it was descriptive. Okay.
I bet.
This is like the way that people are like gagging over ACOTAR, like A Court of Thorns and Roses, is so funny to me because like never in that book do they describe the shaft of that man's penis. They reference it, but they don't talk about it like I knew Julian's penis in 7th
Yeah.
grade, okay? And I was like, I know size, I know girth, I know which vein is where. Okay?
Too much.
It was
I
crazy.
just love the fact of you walking around your house with your headphones on, with your iPod in your pocket, just like everything's normal.
Just like whatever, huh?
It's fun. What are you
What?
listening to?
Nothing. Nothing. Don't ask. Oh, Mom, shut up.
That is funny.
Isn't
I'm
that
glad that you
crazy?
came to acquire that book. That's a
Yeah,
very. Have
me
you ever
too.
told your auntie that?
Oh, my auntie knew. She like she
She
'cause I
did it
remember
on purpose.
no, she didn't mean to, but I remember she texted me something like because she was staying. When she would go to like scrapbook fairs in Calgary, they would
Yeah.
stay overnight at our house. My auntie would share my bed, and we'd sleep in the bed. She like the next day like texted me and was like, "Oh my gosh, I accidentally uploaded my book series onto your guys' Apple. LOL, don't tell your mom."
God, that's so funny.
And I was like,
Oh,
"Girl, I'm
wow.
not
And then you're
telling
like, great.
nobody."
You're like, I've already worked my way through all of them.
I'm like, this is my Bible.
Should we get
So
together and have a book club?
yeah, me and my
That
auntie
is funny.
had a fantasy lover book club.
Okay. Thank you for sharing that fantasy sex story before you were of any age.
Yeah, you're welcome.
It is on brand, I will say that.
Yeah, what the hell?
Yeah, what the hell
Honestly.
is right?
I was a horny kid though, I won't lie.
Which you always kept a secret because I didn't know that. Maybe I did.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I know you had a questionable back massager. That's all I'll
Yeah.
say.
Okay. Okay, we gotta end it. That's
Anyways,
crazy. That's crazy.
it is crazy.
I was a woman at a young
You're a
age.
woman. You were. Okay. I wanted to do this next book because
What scholarly title do you have
it's
for
not
me?
scholarly. It's not. It's kind of like a lost art. And it's one that I really enjoy. But it's a cookbook.
Vegan cookbook though. Questionable.
Yes, it is a vegan cookbook. But this woman, I really enjoy
Chloe,
all of her
say her
recipes. Yes,
name.
Chloe Wheatland. Her name is Chloe Wheatland, and she is an Australian influencer. And she made a name for herself doing these cooking videos on TikTok, Instagram, whatever platform you want to watch it on. And she did really, really well. And so she started developing different recipes. And she came out with this cookbook, I think like last year or the year before, maybe 2024. I'm not sure what year it came out. It was recently. But anyways, this book I've used so many times. I bookmarked all of my
Ooh.
favorite little recipes. She's got desserts, she's got curries, she's got um pretty much anything, like no bake desserts, quick dinners, salads, breakfasts. just really great vegan options, which I'm not a vegan, but I do like to try to eat like a vegan or a vegetarian meal like once a week for dinner or something. And this is just such a refreshing take on food that you probably, myself anyways, don't all the time look forward to. So I found some really great recipes in here. And I just like the idea of supporting like a small Australian influencer that's kind of our age. Yeah, I really like her content and her quality that she puts out. So, love a cookbook.
Cool.
Have a little collection going. I also use Pinterest for pretty much all my recipes as well. But then when I do find a really good cookbook, I love to share it with people. I've given her cookbook as a gift before. And yeah, I find bookmarking them makes it really easy to flip to the really great recipes that I enjoy and that I've tried. So yeah, I love a cookbook, but kind of a
I do too.
dying
I didn't
art.
even think about a cookbook.
Yeah.
That's so smart. I
Yeah.
love it. Wait, so you have to tell us one of your favorite recipes out of it. Title.
Yeah, my favorite
And it
recipes
better be a dessert.
is a
I'm just kidding.
bean. It's like a breakfast oh, here it is. It's called smoky beans, and it's a little breakfast recipe. It's
Hmm.
so good. It
Kind of like
tastes
a
like
shakshuka.
kind of like a shakshuka kind of idea, but
Maybe
10
not.
times better. It's kind of between like shakshuka and like your can of Heinz beans,
Less
but in the
tomatoey than a
best way.
shakshuka.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, less tomatoey, but yeah, just really, really good beans. And I
Hmm.
always have it with like some toasty sourdough or what's it called? Turkish bread on top. That's probably
Ooh.
my favorite recipe.
Yum
So
scrum. I love that.
Chloe's Vegan Kitchen. Really great.
Shout out Chloe. Shout out the
Shout out Chloe.
vegans.
She's so
Your
cute and
people
fun.
too.
So yeah,
You
you
guys
matter.
deserve to vote just like the rest of us.
All right, your turn.
My turn. Okay, so I'm going to do it's a book that I'm currently reading. I'm not finished it. So is that allowed?
We'll accept. Go ahead.
Okay. Okay. It's really good so far. I have been influenced by Brittany Broski, little small town creator. She's really on the come up. You might have heard of her. And do you know who Brittany Broski is?
It rings a bell.
Oh my God, that's so funny. Okay,
What?
Brittany Broski. Well, she's like hugely well known. Yeah, yeah, she's awesome. She's
Sorry.
actually, her and Jeff Wall are like friends.
Okay.
Yeah. But she has been, well, she read Wuthering Heights. She reads a lot of like really interesting books, but she on her podcast has been talking about the idea of like female madness in books. And
Oh,
so it was kind of like I was being like slowly like Pavloved into being like, I want to read a book like that because she was always talking about it on her podcast. And so I found this book by Margaret Atwood called the Lady Oracle, and it is so good. It's like it's kind of I don't want to call it a thriller. I don't think it's a thriller. If it might turn into one, I'm not sure, but it is so interesting because the main character is kind of like she's running from something, she's faked her own death. And so now she's hiding in a small town in Italy, and I think it's called Pimento, Italy. And it's so interesting because you can't tell if she's a reliable narrator at the beginning because it's all from her perspective, and she's done something, kind of nefarious. She's
yeah.
faked her own death to maybe escape her husband, or maybe because she's having an affair, or
Yeah.
because she just needed to start over in life. You're not really sure. And so when she's like recounting things that go about her day, like she's kind of constant because she's, on the run. She's
Mhm.
very, what's it called? She's very
Like elusive, vague.
elusive, and well, no, she's not vague, but she is like always, like if someone says hi to her while she's walking down the street, she's like, oh, they
Wonder
know
what they meant.
something. Yeah, what they meant by that hi, like,
Yeah.
what have they been watching me? Like, are they keeping
Yeah.
count? Like, she's
Paranoid.
very yes, paranoid. And so you kind of question, and then she makes like choices, like she cut off all her hair to like help disguise herself, and then she started burning her hair to get rid of it, which like is one way to go about it, I guess, but I was like, "Jesus Christ, the smell alone."
Yeah.
I would know about burning hair. I used to straighten my
Yeah.
hair from soaking wet.
I know. Not
Yeah.
recommended.
But yeah, so Lady Oracle, Margaret Atwood.
Nice.
Not finished it yet. It's very good. The only thing is that's a bit tough for me is there's longer chapters,
Yeah.
and I usually like books with shorter chapters because I like to
Yeah.
feel like it's
You're getting through
pacing.
something.
Yes, this is longer
Okay.
chapters, but Margaret Atwood is such an incredible writer. Oh my god. Like,
Nice.
I mean, that's not a hot take, obviously. She's extremely, uh, well known
Established.
for her writing, believe it or not. So, yeah, so I just absolutely love it. It's extremely good.
I like that how the narrator is untrustworthy because
Yes,
that's the only perspective that you're getting. So the fact
yes.
that the reader questions the authenticity of the narrator is pretty cool. That's an
Well, you're just
interesting
like,
take.
I can't tell if this lady is just like madness, like she's already kind of crazy, or if she's kind of slipping into it because she's
Yeah,
becoming super paranoid and like, yeah, it's really, really interesting.
cool.
I really like it so far.
All right. And for my last and final book, I'm moving over to my Kindle, which if you don't have a Kindle yet, no, don't. I love my Kindle. It honestly pride and joy. And you can get cute cases for it.
Yeah, I know.
Anyway, a Kindle revolutionized the amount of reading I've done. I've read so many books since getting my Kindle. It just makes it so easy to just carry around. The battery never dies. Love. So if you don't have a Kindle, what the fuck are you doing? No,
Ugh,
I'm
I
kidding.
know.
I'm not, but I am.
I'm so
So my last
analog.
and final book is called The Goddess Path by Christy Gallagher, who is an amazing spiritual and yoga teacher slash leader. And she is from the UK and she's written a handful of books that have all done really, really well. I think her most famous one is called Moon. I've never read that one, but I would love to. And the one that I wanted to refer to today is called The Goddess Path. And it is just an amazing book for women or femmes to read, and it's all about self-worth and finding out what that means to you and what it looks like, and tuning into your intuition and how to access your intuition a little bit better, and how we should be trusting our intuition, and how we should be setting boundaries for ourselves with our own self and with other people. And it's a really good introduction into some really powerful goddess energy from the past. So she introduces a handful of goddesses that you can use during any kind of spiritual practice if you practice making spells or have a spiritual practice and you want to call on a deity. She really breaks down all of the goddesses and what they're known for, when to call on them, how they can help you navigate through whatever situation you're going through. So I really, really loved this book. It was a very powerful read for me. And I think just reading it as a woman, it just felt powerful. It was about female empowerment in itself. So that for me was a really, really great book. And I felt very strong and like I was part of a greater community after reading that book and connecting with it. So really,
Wow,
really great read.
I
Christy
love
Gallagher.
that. I think I got that as an audiobook, and that was a mistake. I need it, like,
Mm,
because there's, like, stuff in it, right, that you do throughout?
That's one funny that I plugged my Kindle because that's one I would actually really enjoy to have as a paper copy to kind of bookmark different deities that you think you'd like
Mhm.
to refer back to, different sections of the book that she gives different like little rituals you can be doing. And yeah, one that it would be good to have as a paper book. So I could see that the audiobook maybe wasn't as engaging.
I
I
like
don't think
that.
any many not I think many self-help books wouldn't be as good as an audiobook, to be honest.
I don't think so either, I've tried. It's just
Mhm.
like, "Shut up."
Yeah. Sounds a bit preachy. It doesn't I
It
feel like
does.
reading it and then kind of ruminating on it for a couple of minutes helps you absorb and apply it to your own situation.
Yeah, the only self-help book that I actually hated that, you recommended to me was the Girl Wash Your Face one.
Oh, I can't even remember that one. That was probably the
Yeah.
first self-help book I've ever read.
That was a
Yeah, I
brutal
think she
one.
has 2 books. I do remember liking that one, but it was a bit like motherhood.
Like, well, she's, like, religious or something, and then yeah, I was like, "Shut up, lady." But,
That's true.
but every other one you've ever recommended to me is incredible, and
That's good.
I love that premise of that one, especially because obviously you and I both like to like do our little spiritual practices, do
Mm,
spell work and like connect to like the feminine energy that we feel close to. Like feminine energy is again like it's like it's an essence.
yeah,
It's not a gendered thing. It's just a way to talk about energies and like essence in the world that you feel.
agreed.
Thanks. So wait, so what was it the title again? The Goddess Path by
Yes, Christy Gallagher.
Christy Gallagher. I love
Yeah.
that. I love the way that you it sounds like it's written out to be like a handbook almost.
Yeah, it almost is. I think a lot of her books, to be honest, kind of are written in that style.
I love that.
One other thing I wanted to show you, something that I started maybe last year or like a year and a half ago, is I have this little journal that I call my book journal. And how cute is it, for one?
Super cute.
It's
It's
like
hilarious to call that a book
textured.
journal.
I know, a bit lame.
It's
But to
no.
start off, I was reading all these amazing books and I was like, holy shit. I was like, I don't ever want to forget like what I've learned in these books. So I
Do you have
started writing
Goodreads?
down. No.
Oh, you should get that and
That
write
an
your
app?
reviews. It's a like an app. I think
Oh,
it's a website.
I should. I
You
should
should.
do that. People
Anyway,
need to know.
sorry. They do.
That's okay. And I just started writing down like notes from all of the
Wow.
books that I really, really enjoyed.
Oh my
And
god.
turns out it started to feel a little bit more like a chore. So I've changed my style a little bit, but I just like to have a little book and I'll just write down the title and what I took out of that book. And this is something that I reflect
That's
in.
smart.
Yeah, often actually.
I was gonna
And
say, that's really smart because you're kind of like one, it's really good for your brain because you're
mm,
basically doing like a novel study after you're done reading the book. And
yeah.
that's a really good way to make sure that you are absorbing whatever it is that you're actually reading. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that is one thing that I think that I do well is I do really absorb what I'm reading. Do I
Love that.
forget about it shortly after? Sometimes, yeah, but that's why I got this book, and I think that it has helped to kind of
Was
remember
Girl
things.
Wash Your Face in there? Were you looking up what you
I think that
wrote
was
about it?
honestly a decade ago,
That
so
was a
no,
long,
it hasn't
long time ago.
made it into the book. That was probably the first book I read.
Ever read, yeah.
Yeah.
Besides Moby Dick.
Yeah.
And shout out Moby Dick. Where
Yeah,
is she?
honestly,
Where'd she go? She fell off.
I think she got speared in the back, poor thing.
I think she was canceled for a tweet she
Yeah,
made when she was like 13 or something.
for a tweet.
Just kidding.
Yeah.
Who
But that
knows?
was a really good episode. I really enjoyed talking
I
about
love
all of
it.
the books with you. That was fun.
Okay, really quick. I know this will be annoying for editing, but honorable mentions from my book list are The
Yeah,
Spiderwick Chronicles, Dragon Rider, The Twilight Saga.
nice. Love. Okay. I had one more honorable mention, and I'm not even, well, I'll show it. It's called Making It, and it's a radical home ec for the post consumer world. So that's a fucking mouthful by Kelly Coyne and Eric Knutson. That's unfortunate. Eric Knutson. But, anyways,
Nuts
just
in.
having
Honey, I
a
like my
home
nuts
ec.
out.
Yeah, my nuts out. My nuts out and on the stove.
Hey, wherever. Nuts
But
in, nuts
I
out.
think having like a home ec book, a book that tells you like pickling, gardening, like all
Oh,
the
I love
shit that you
that.
call your mom for, just having it on hand, I find so soothing sometimes. I'm like,
I love
I'm not
that.
gonna do
You
this.
should sell books actually, because you
I
really do a
should
good job of like getting to the nitty
pitching.
gritty of what's worth. Yes, pitching. You're a
Yeah.
very good pitcher, and I'm a good catcher. Ayo.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I'll be here all
Perfect.
week. So
Yeah. We'll be here next week for
we'll be here
sure.
next week, and you better be here next week too, my dear listener.
Yes. We will see
Shout
you
out,
soon.
shout out Bridgerton Girls. I also read some of those books.
You can't stop yourself, can you?
I can.
Emily's a massive reader,
If there's
big
sex
reader.
in something, I'm probably wanting to know
She's
what's up
watching it.
there.
Yeah. It's on our list.
Yeah.
And
I
Auntie
had to,
Jackie's list.
and Auntie shout out Auntie Jackie. Reading is powerful. It's amazing.
It
And
is.
yeah, thank you for sharing those books with me, Rachel. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome, man.
And
Thanks for sharing yours.
they all go into the bunker in the Girlhood library for
Yeah.
when the world
Into the
ends. We'll
vault.
have all of those saved. Yeah.
Yeah.
So thanks for
Hold on to them.
listening.
Thanks, everyone. We'll see
Thank
you
you.
in a couple of weeks.
We'll
We'll see
see
you
you in
then.
2 weeks. Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye.